Hi, good day. This is Dr. Mike speaking, and today I'm going to answer the question, is fibromyalgia real? It's a question I get a lot in practice. And I'm also going to be sharing why this question comes up as much as it does, and also what the newest research tells us about it. So I hope you enjoy it. Just a little note. Obviously, this presentation is not intended to provide individual patient advice, but rather it's about providing education about fibromyalgia. And if you think that you have a condition causing chronic pain, please talk to your doctor and get a proper diagnosis and treatment plan. So some fast facts about fibromyalgia. It is a medical condition defined by the presence of chronic widespread pain, so pain all over your body, fatigue or tiredness, waking unrefreshed, and cognitive symptoms, things like fogginess, inability to concentrate, these sort of things. So those are the main 4 symptoms that they put together in this syndrome called fibromyalgia. It does affect around 2 to 4% of the people, and mostly women, more than 75%. And the estimates are that it's at least more than 5 million Americans. Some of the estimates go up to 16 to 20. It's a lot of people. That's not an immune kind of illness or destructive illness, meaning your tissues don't get damaged and broken down. And the newest research says that basically the nervous system is involved, meaning your brain. So when we start talking about some of the newer research that's coming out around fibromyalgia, a lot of it revolves around what researchers call a central pain state or central sensitization, which basically means just what it says, that your brain and your spinal cord are more sensitive to pain than they should be. And also, a lot of the new research has started to actually define and identify, exactly how that happens and measure it, which is quite important. So we're looking at changes in the brain, the spine, and the nerves. So some of these changes, and these are technical, but basically there's raised amounts of certain substances like substance P and nerve growth factor in the spinal fluid. And there is also an increased production of nitric oxide in the spinal fluid. And that basically has a lot to do with blood flow. And then they're also finding inflammatory cytokines are produced. Now, an inflammatory cytokine is basically a kind of immune regulator, or it's a substance that your immune system uses to create more inflammation in your body. And it looks like there is kind of a inflammatory state that your brain and nervous system is getting into that leads to this kind of sensitization. So we're looking at measurable changes in your immune system, and especially in your brain and your spinal cord. We also see changes in hormones, specifically growth hormone overall, and when you exercise, and then also changes in how your brain behaves during rest and during exercise. There is an intolerance to exercise, and also abnormal neurological reactions to pain, meaning the way your brain and your nerves respond to pain, it's not happening in a normal kind of way. So, as I mentioned, impaired brain blood flow, specifically to specific parts of your brain, and disruption in specific hormones. So here on the right, you can see there's they call it the HPA axis, which is basically just a technical term to describe these structures of the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenal glands. And these organs basically release stress hormones. And so there seems to be a big issue in the way that your stress hormone system works in your brain and in your body. And what that leads to is basically, you don't handle stress very well, and these stress hormones, the way they behave are abnormal. So, from the newest research, we can tell that fibromyalgia is a well-defined and recognized syndrome. It comes up in these kinds of tests, not per se in scans where we're looking at structures like X-rays and MRIs, but we can see that there is functional problems, and specifically in your brain and your nervous system. We're also seeing functional changes in hormones, functional changes in your immune system, and basically there are a lot of very specific criteria or measurements that can be used to make a good diagnosis of fibromyalgia. So to answer the question, yeah, fibromyalgia is real. And I hope that the research and this information just drives that point forward. I am making a couple of videos around fibromyalgia just to try and educate. So I have another one in the series called Fibromyalgia Wiki, and then I do have a free 10-part fibromyalgia mini course, and there will be links in the description or in the comments where you can find out more about that if you're interested. So that was it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.